That concludes the Champions League qualification stages, and as you can tell from my monotone tone and my depressing face, that unfortunately Glasgow Celtic will not be participating in the Champions League next year. Fuck! Oh my God, you don't know how infuriating that is to get that out. I've held it in. It's just so infuriating. Like, what's the fourth, fifth official doing there if you can't call a clear goal that is clear? I have to sympathise with the likes of Chris Sutton, who's a BT correspondent, former Celtic player, who just basically called him an idiot and has been scrutinised for it, but he is an idiot if he's not watching. You're supposed to be there to help the goal, or to see that it's a goal, a clear goal. Celtic should have been in Champions League, but whatever. Man will go through. So here are the list of the lucky teams who have made it into the big money prize of competing in the Champions League group stages. So Manchester United, will touch on that in a little bit later. They go through comfortably. I'll go into detail about that performance. Malmo, of course, have beaten Celtic. Congratulations to them. Shakhtar, Maccabi Tel Aviv, GNK Dynamo, Valencia, who now make up 5 La Liga teams to compete in this year's Champions League. Astounding from them, the most from any of the leagues competing. Bayer Leverkusen, Bate Borisov, FC Astana, and CSKA Moscow make up the round of teams who are going to compete in the world's most fantastic, most glorious, most exciting tournament in the UEFA Champions League. And I'm looking forward, despite Celtic not making it, my other team, Manchester United, as we know, a little bit of a fanboy there. I'll be excited to see them come back into the Champions League. The way I said it was Liverpool. I don't think the Champions League is the Champions League without the Manchester Uniteds of the world, or the Liverpools of the world, Barcelona, Real Madrid. You want all the best teams, the biggest teams competing. So I'm excited to see how Manchester United compete this season. So I want to talk about United and one player in particular. And if you throw up this picture here, look at the relief on Wayne Rooney. So hands grasped together, almost like a prayer to the sky. His first goal since April. And he didn't just stop there. He had a hat-trick against Club Brugge in this game for a comfortable away win. And Louis van Gaal will be relieved as well, scoring that amount of goals. They were firing blanks against Newcastle, so the fact that Rooney was on the score sheet, and surprise, surprise, Herrera gets on the score sheet. Wow, why don't you play him more often? Oh yeah, but that's another subject we'll touch upon in a tactics video. But Wayne Rooney getting off the score sheet, 3 goals, he will be relieved, and the Manchester United fans, I should say, will be relieved that their star striker has been firing again. So they'll be going into this Champions League confident that they won comfortably. And amongst the other teams, there was some fantastic ties in there. Valencia versus Monaco was a tough tie. Valencia eventually prevailed, and they were the better team to go through. Bayer Leverkusen faced off against Lazio, and they destroyed them in the second leg, and they go through to the Champions League group stage, which is unfortunate for Lazio, but great for them. And some newcomers in the FC Astana, great to see them going through. Maccabi Tel Aviv beating FC Basel was a surprise, because FC Basel, as we know, are almost like the veterans who make it into this competition and are very hard to overturn at this stage. But I want to get to this question, which came from one of our viewers concerning the Champions League qualifying. It was from Farhan Khan. Do you think Man United will advance to the quarterfinals? So it's an early question, but I do like the early questions coming in. And this year, I'm going to say that I think they will. And I know many people will be laughing. Many people will say, what do you know? You haven't even seen Manchester United fully develop. And that is for the reason, and the reason alone, that I think they could. I don't think they will go through with flying colours. It obviously is kind of hard to tell without seeing the group stage. You never know. They might be drawn with a very hard-seeded group coming in from the qualifying stage. You're not one of the highest-seeded teams, so it's going to be tough for them. But nonetheless, I think that they could advance to the quarterfinals. Saying they couldn't is going against the randomness that is the Champions League, because there is many times where you've seen teams like Monaco go further than you expect. When you see Porto go all the way through the distance. So do I think that Manchester United, with the new signings they have this year and the time that it will take to get into that frame of football mind that they want to play in this season, of course I think they can make it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Do I think they can win it? No. But I think they could definitely give a good run to get to that stage. You have to qualify, obviously, from the group stage, and it depends who you get. If you qualify at the top of their group, then they're now ahead of the seedings, and they're now looking to face some of the second teams in there. So I think that Manchester United have every chance of potentially getting to that stage, but it'll be interesting to see how they advance through. But from a neutral perspective, it's devastating for me, but I am excited, and what this means is the conclusion of the UEFA Champions League qualifying stages, and now we look forward to the group stage and the draw as well, which we will be bringing you with fully in-depth predictions of who I think will win the Champions League from an early perspective, and I'll probably change my mind halfway through, but that's the whole fun of being on the camera, because I can just change it and pretend I never seen it until someone throws up the quote or the video. So stay tuned to that. Make sure to stay tuned to TYT Sports. What do you think of the qualifying stages? Should Manchester United be going through confidently? What do you think of the future games coming up, and are you excited for the draw? All comments in the section below, and subscribe to TYT Sports.